Hey there, gang. It is time for another grading video, and this one is a little different. This time we are all through with the Golden Age Disney books that we were looking at, and we are swinging the pendulum in almost the exact opposite direction. We're going to be looking at these Bronze Age Mexican comic books, Spanish language comics, La Chica de Kung Fu. And as you can see, Chica de Kung Fu Girl, aka Jacqueline Sue Lin, is kind of the panty shot princess of Mexican martial arts Kung Fu comics. So, if you like old comic books, or if you're a bit of a perv, stick around, we're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is a grading video. And as noted, we are looking at these Bronze Age, early 70s Mexican comic books, La Chica de Kung Fu. And this is kind of a weird series. And in fact, it's a little known series. So little known, in fact, that it did not appear on the Grand Comics database, the GCD as we cool kids call it, at comics.org. Wasn't on there at all. I have submitted these books for indexing. The Mexican Spider-Man books that we had recently, you may have seen those grading videos and those unboxing videos. Those did absolutely boffo business on the eBay channel. dotcomcomics.com is the seller name on eBay. And they just did crazy. Hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. The so-called wedding issue went for, I think it was like $4,500, $4,800. Just nuts, especially considering that the owners of the company, that box of Mexican comics that included these, sat on a shelf for several months because they thought it was a dud. They were like, oh God, we overpaid for this. This is going to be just an absolute dud. And it went crazy. It just absolutely blew up. I don't think these are going to do as well, in part because, as I said, this series is so little known, nobody's going to know enough to search for it. So, if you want these books, you may have a pretty good shot at them, having been clued in from this video. So, we're going to take a look at these books. We'll do some grading. And before we get there, though, let's get a little business out of the way. And then I will talk a little bit, as much as I know about this series, because it is kind of an oddball that merits a little bit of discussion. So if you just want to see the grading, skip ahead, 2 minutes. Although, you know me, I say 2 minutes, make it 7. So anyway, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the groovy things. You know how that works. I do appear to have crossed kind of a threshold with this channel in a couple of ways. One, I seem to have attracted my first hater. Which is, hey, that's fine. I don't think the algorithm really cares if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but I had got kind of spoiled with, 100% likes on these videos. Granted, very small channel, so we're talking, 10, 20 likes, 30 at most, but the last 3 or 4 have attracted a thumbs down. So please do smash that like button, help a fella out, and please do comment. And also, I'm trying to get monetized, and you may have noticed that this channel has started to play ads. I don't really know how long that's been happening. I just noticed it myself a couple days ago. But I'm not monetized. I'm not seeing any revenue from those ads as of yet. You need to get to 1,000 subscribers minimum, and right now I'm at 406 as I film this. So I am running a little bit of a giveaway promotion to the drive for 500, as it were, because you can't get to 1,000 until first you get to 500. So for that, we are going to be giving away a couple of Bronze Age mystery boxes. And I have spoken about those on the channel here before. They are something that we do at the company that I work for, which is sellmycomicbooks.com. Help if I get the name right. And dotcomcomics.com. And those are 10, the boxes are 10 random Bronze Age comic books. 1 in 10. There were 100 boxes in the series. 1 in 10 had a bonus 11th book. And then 1 out of the 100 had a What If number 10, the first appearance of the Jane Foster Thor. These boxes originally went for $35. There are a couple left, 3 or 4 still left on the dotcomcomics.com website if you don't want to wait for however long it may take for me to get to 500 here. But once I do get to 500, The owner of the company, Sean, was, or I should say, co-owner. Don't want to neglect Ashley. Ashley lives in Canada, and because of COVID, I haven't seen Ashley in like more than a year. Kind of forgot about him. But no, Sean did donate a couple of those Bronze Age boxes, so thank you very much, Sean. And once I get to 500 subscribers, I will do a random drawing. Everybody who is subscribed to the channel and leaves a comment between now and then. So if you're already subscribed, you're halfway there, Bubby. All you got to do is just leave a comment. But yeah, once we get to 500, we'll do 2 drawings, 1 for each of those boxes. And as I said, if you don't want to wait, there's 3 or 4 still left on the dotcomcomics.com web store. All right, so let's get into it. I said 7 minutes, and I'm at 6, so I'm doing good. The Chica de Kung Fu. So this is an offshoot of MACC Division Historitas, and I don't speak Spanish. Obviously, I'm about as white as it comes. You know, my heritage is English, Irish, and a fifth of Scotch. So, but the Mexican comic books we looked at before, the Spider-Mans, those were done by an outfit called La Prensa. And La Prensa, I don't know what the deal is, if they went out of business or just lost a license, but the Spider-Man series actually ended on a cliffhanger. They didn't do 2-part stories very often, but that series ended right in the middle of a 2-part story, or what was at least a 2-part story. And then within a year, less than a year, the Spider-Man books picked up again with this company. And the actual name, I mean, they have this banner, very much like the Marvel Comics Group banner, MACC Division Historitas. Again, I'm probably mangling that. If you are a Spanish language speaker, I apologize up front. But they also have this kind of eye logo that says Oepisa, O-E-P-I-S-A. I have no idea what that stands for. I believe it's an acronym of some kind, because there are ads in some of these books where, you know, there are little dots after each letter, but I have no idea what that stands for. If you look in the indicia, or indicia, however you choose to pronounce it's okay with me, the actual name of this company is Organización Editorial de Publicaciones y Impresiones. So I don't know where out of that they get Oepisa or MACC. Division Historitas is, well, Division I think is Division, and Historitas is, I just feel like I'm really saying that word wrong. Feel free to leave a pronunciation guide below, or hell, leave a thumbs down. I don't care. But that is basically Spanish for comic books. At least as I have been able to glean from Google Translate. What the MACC stands for, I couldn't tell you, because I don't get those initials out of Organización Editorial de Publicaciones y Impresiones. But anyway, so this series was an offshoot of MACC's Kung Fu series, which started out as a reprint series of Marvel's Master of Kung Fu series, The Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Most of what MACC did was reprints of Marvel comics. They had a license to reprint Marvel books. Occasionally they would do original books, and this was an all-original series. So the Kung Fu series, and that was the title in Mexico of that series. It was just Kung Fu, and in the indicia, Kung Fu was in quotes. But that series is really kind of a hot mess in that the title kept changing. It changed from Kung Fu to Shang-Chi. Then it alternated between Shang-Chi and Iron Fist. And then there were a couple issues that were Shang-Chi present a Conan the Barbarian. and then it went back to Kung Fu again, and there were several issues that had like no title at all in the indicia, so it was all over the place. So it's not surprising that the GCD index is, as I said, to coin a phrase, a hot mess. But then this was kind of an offshoot, and this ran from issue 49 to 67. We can see here. I'll show you the last issue. Boom. And as near as I can tell, it only ran every other issue, which is kind of weird. I think these 10 issues are the complete run, but it goes 49, 51, 53. And these numbers are the same as the concurrent Iron Fist issues of the Kung Fu series. So, in the regular Kung Fu series, it was, Shang-Chi was number 48, then Puno de Arino was 49, and there was a Chica de Kung Fu 49. And then Shang-Chi was 50, and then there was a Iron Fist 51 and a Chica de Kung Fu 51. So I think we have a complete set here. I think for whatever reason, this only ran every other issue. And I really don't know if this should be considered part of the Kung Fu series, or if the Iron Fist should be considered part of the Kung Fu series, or if that broke off. Because again, it's the Iron Fist issues that, for a couple of issues, have absolutely no indicia title at all. And this book is technically titled, and you can see here, Shang-Chi Presenta, and that tends to go away here towards the end, as you can see there. But the official title in the indicia is Shang-Chi Presenta, La Chica de Kung Fu. And it says Anno 2, which is like year 2 or volume 2. There is no volume 1 of this. It's counting Kung Fu as year 1. So it's a very, very strange thing. It's either Chica de Kung Fu or Iron Fist must be considered the offshoot, or you have to allow that in the Kung Fu series there were 2 number 49s, 2 number 51s. I don't know how you resolve that, but in the indexing that I submitted to the GCD, and the editors have yet to slap me down, I counted, because the alternating with Iron Fist started first, I counted that as the regular series, and I made this an entirely new series, and noted that as far as I can tell, there is no number 50. There is no number 52. But maybe that's out there somewhere. So anyway, we will take a look at these books. We will grade these up. Let's talk a little bit about grading, because these are going to be kind of mid to low grade, much like the Spider-Man books that we had looked at. In those books, I had kind of complained that they looked like they had come up from Mexico to Maine on the back of a chicken truck. They were a lot of, 2s, 3s, and 4s. These might get up into the 5 range. We might have a couple of 6s in here, but I don't think so. But the thing is, they're not beat up. There's really not even a lot of stressing. Some, but not a lot, on the spine. There are no real rips or tears. Some of them have like a little corner missing like this, and some blunting. But they're not really in really bad shape. The paper is kind of tannish, but it's not really brown or brittle or anything. But the coloring is racist as hell. straight up yellow for Chinese folks. Or actually, I think she might be Korean. I'm not sure. Here's her little write-up in this first issue. So she is, as I said, Jacqueline Su Lin. Es un ser extraordinario, is extraordinary, I guess. And this series was, I'm getting off track here, I lost my train of thought, but most of the books in this series, they're written by Juan Alba and drawn by Alberto Leon. This Argumento, I had assumed initially that was basically augmenting, and that meant the inker. But the editor, a Spanish language fella that I've been working with in the GCD to index these, he tells me that this basically means backgrounds, so like the background inking, and that's somebody named G. Talicon. And these names are actually fleshed out in some subsequent issues. I don't know, let's see this one. Yeah, see Juan Alba Lopez and E.G. Talicon on the art. This one doesn't actually give a writer, I don't see. But they did most of these issues. And it is, like these Spider-Man books that we looked at, a lot of kind of cheesecake art. Not quite as cheesecake as the other one. This artist doesn't have quite the same obsession with Chica's butt that the other artist had with Gwen Stacy's backside, although granted you do get some of it. But the covers are all panty shots. Like every single cover just about is a panty shot of some kind. Here's here's another one. And there's Al Capone. But anyway, as I got off track saying, these books they're kind of mid to low grade, and it's basically just wear, just age. They're not really all that beat up, but it is. It's funny if you look at, and you can still get it. The first edition of the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide, which came out I think in 1971, and Gemstone through the Diamond Catalog, you can get a replica of that. I think it's like 17, 18 bucks. But the listing describes, and at that time, the conditions were just, good, fine, and near mint. Actually, I think it might even have been mint at that point. And good was described as, quote unquote, the condition of the average used comic book or something like that. And that tells you a little bit about how the market has changed since the early 70s, when, now people buy comic books and they go right in the Mylar, and they're hardly ever touched. The average condition today is more near mint than good. But also what is defined as good has changed. Nowadays, a good is considered not good. But by that definition, you can see why the term good was used. But now, good is considered barely collectible at all. It's a kind of book you don't even really want in your collection if you can help it. So, grading has changed over the years. These are, as I said, going to be mid to lower grade. I think these are going to be mostly 4s, 5s, maybe a few 6s. And that's largely because of the just wear and tear, although they're not beat up too badly. So I guess we should just get right into it then, huh? We're about 20 minutes into a grading video. Why don't I start the grading? Okay. So we noted here in this first issue, we've got all this abrasion and blunting here in that little corner out. We've got some stressing along the spines, but it's more like just general wear. This book's been read several times, but it hasn't really been beat up. And there's a little bit of wrinkling up here, like it's just a little bit of exposure to moisture or humidity. The back cover looks okay. These books, by the way, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but they're a little narrower than the standard American comic book. They're about the same height, but they're a little bit narrower. And we can take a look inside here. You can see a little bit of soiling on this first page. And we'll take a look here. I'll show you some of what Chica de Kung Fu looked like. We already saw that page. And she spends most of this issue underwater in a bikini. I've already checked all of these books. You won't see me really check the centerfolds or anything like that, because in indexing these books, I've already gone through them, and I do know that all of these books are tight and complete. This fella here is kind of her Steve Trevor. His name is Wang Wong or Wong Wang or something like that. And here you go. So remember I told you that the although it's missing the eye, but these ads have it as, and these are things you could send for, fabulous radio and increase your intelligence and karate lessons, which 42 pesos. That's a hell of a lot of money. But anyway, it's an acronym of some kind, but I have no idea what it stands for. So here's the end. There's the sucky face. Mexican comic books are pretty renowned for having a high romance quotient. So there you go. And there's, as you can see, an ad. Most of these books reprinted the American comics, Marvel Comics, translated into Spanish. So this book right here, I think we're going to call it a 4. I might have been able to get away with a 5, but for this corner right here, where you've got that little chip out, and you've got some wear and abrasion right here. But otherwise, it's just, you know, a lot of wrinkling and wear, and not a ton of actual damage. Although, you know, with that, I might want to do the better part of valor might be to go down to a 3.5, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to call that a 3.5. That is a 3.5. And we are moving on now. Now we'll pick up some speed. Now we're cooking with gas. So, and this one also has a corner out, but I think this one I might be able to get away with a 4. And if you look, have I got my grading guide here? Let me take a look at the grading guide. Because this is another thing we have discussed about grading before, that you have to take the overall condition into account. And it, you know, the grading guide, and here's mine, which is, I think, this is second edition from 2003. But, you know, it will tell you that, you know, like a 3 can have up to a 1/4 inch corner missing. You know, and you may be, well, this can't be more than a 3 then, because it has, you know, a little less than a 1/4 inch corner missing. But if the rest of the book looks good, it could be more than that. So let me take a look here. I want to see, looking at the 4s. So here is a 4.0. And it does say cover shows moderate to significant wear. Well, I would say that that's, you know, moderate at least. Maybe loose, but not completely detached. Cover reflectivity is low, and I would say that that's, you know, these are medium still. They still have some gloss to them. Can have moderate creases or dimples. Well, it's got a lot of that. Corners may be blunted. Well, store stamps, name stamps, arrival dates, initials, etc. have no effect on this grade. Some discoloration, fading, foxing, and even minor soiling is allowed. Well, we've got the soiling, but not discoloration or fading so much. Now, as much as a 1/4 inch triangle can be missing out of the corner or edge, a missing 1/8 inch square is also acceptable. Only minor unobtrusive tape and other minor repair. So, this could be a 4. And you might say, well, then it can't be a 4.5. It can't be a 5. I mean, let's look at 5s. Boom, boom, boom. We'll go up to 5. Very good, fine. And here it tells you minor to moderate wear apparent with minor to moderate creases and or dimples. Well, we're kind of above the minor range here. Inks have moderate to low reflectivity. Blunted corners are increasingly common, as is minor to moderate staining, discolorization, and or foxing. Stamp or inked arrival dates may be present. It says nothing about the edges, and you can see, but it can have up to a 1/2 inch spine split at a 5. And corners, blunting, increasingly common. So shouldn't have anything missing at a 5. Now, if this book, you know, again, this is where I say you can't take this stuff literally. You know, grading is a subjective art. But if this book was pretty pristine, but for this corner missing, I might grade it as, like, you know, upwards of, you know, maybe as high as a 5.5. I probably wouldn't go all the way to a 6. But at this, you know, we'll have to look at the rest of the book here now. But I think I might go as high as a 4.5. Now, we do have some stressing here along the spine, but, you know, not any actual tears. We do have some blunting here. We've got a light crease there. Some blunting down here. The back cover, we can see a lot of kind of wrinkling and creasing. On this side of the spine, we can see it's a little heavier. Let's look inside and show you some Chica de Kung Fu. Oh, look, Klansman, hooray! Mexican Klansman. What do you think of that? That looks almost taken directly, exactly from the cover, doesn't it? See, so it's Wong Chong. What did I tell you before? Wang Wong, Wong Wang. It's Wong Chong. Everybody Wong Chong tonight. So, and again, the pages are, they're off-white, they're tanning. Oh, she's naked. She's naked. Look at that. She got dressed. Knocked him out and then got dressed. Good for her. She's in space. Chica de Kung Fu in space. Giving you a good look, just in case you want to bid on these. Now we do have a little soiling here. I wouldn't call that foxing. That's not like the start of mold. That's really just dirt, it looks like. But I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go a 4-5 on that. Well, you know, some of this creasing on the spine, if you look at this back side, is maybe a little heavy. So actually, I think I'm going to go a 4 on that. So, after all of that, telling you, you know, to totally disregard the guide, don't take it literally, you know, exactly what it says for a grade. Take, you know, everything into account. I am going to go ahead and cut off at a 4, exactly where it says I should have cut off because of that, just because of the overall assessment. So, we're going to call this a 4-0. And moving on, issue number 53 with Al Capone. This one's a little better. I mean, this one, now you know, all the corners are complete, but we've got some blunting up here. And we do have, not a spine split, but there is some fairly heavy stressing up here at the top. And you can see some wear along that mid-spine. It's pretty worn right down. No rust on the staples, but they are kind of discolored a little bit. Still with that same Planeta de los Simos on the back. And you can see some of that wear on the spine again still. And let's go ahead and look through this one. See, they had a Khazar comic book. And these are, what did I tell you the dates were? Well, it's actually 75, so these are actually mid-70s. So if you compare this to the average mid-70s comic book on the market, American book, you know, these would comparatively be pretty low grade. Because by the mid-70s, the fan market is in high gear, and books are getting, especially the superhero books, are getting saved. Did I miss a page there? I wanted to show you the whole thing. Boom. And I'm going through this super quick. You'll have to pause if you want to look at this. But, you know, I don't mind showing you all of it because you may never see. There's a, and actually that looks like it came straight from the cover as well. It did. Ah! What do you think of that? Or actually, I should say the cover is taken from the panel. Yeah. You may never get a chance to see this book again. I certainly don't expect, she looks very Elvira there, doesn't she? I don't expect to ever see these again. So this particular book, I think I'm going to go to a 4-5. I don't really want to go to a 5, which is very good fine, just because of the overall wear. You know, again, it's pretty heavy. And again, as I said right at the top of the video, these books don't have a lot of actual ripping or tearing. It's just wear and tear, age. You know, they haven't been stored in the best of conditions. And so there's a lot of kind of soiling. And they're kind of, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's, you know, there's a lot of wrinkling and dimpling here on the cover. Now, somebody might call that a 5, but I think I want to be a little conservative and call it a 4 or 5, especially because we do have some pretty heavy wear on that spine where it's worn right through to the base paper below that gloss. So I'm going to call that a 4 or 5. Somebody might call it a 5. I don't think most graders would have put that up as high as a 5, or a 6, but you never know. Some might. All right. Here's some more Chica de Kung Fu, number 55. 2 pesos. I don't know what is percentage of a pesos, like we would say here in the States, $2.60. 2 pesos and 60 what? I don't actually know. If you know, leave a comment below. So this one has some fairly significant wear here on the spine, and more in the way of creasing. Now, if that's all it had, and the rest of the book looked pretty good. Oh, it's got some writing on the back cover too. Somebody was doing some math. It looks like some Common Core math. I can't figure out what they're trying to do there. But again, with I don't want to say grime or even soiling really, but it's just picked up some atmospheric dust. Let's put it that way, I guess. They're just not really bright. And the front covers are kind of, again, they're not really wrinkled, but they're not super smooth and, flat. You do have some blunting down here on this corner as well. But again, if the stressing that we see here on the spine was really all it had, and it looked pretty good other than that, I might be able to get this up to a 5. Oh, we got a stain here in the middle as well. So I think, with the stain and the writing and the spine and then just the general wear, I think this one we're going to do a 4. That one's going to be a 4.0. Maybe I should go to a 3.5 on that, but I think I'm going to stick with a 4. Because again, it's complete. There's nothing missing, and there are no major rips or tears. None of these books really have any spine splitting. Some of them have, what could pass as a bindery tear, but again, less than 1/8 of an inch, if that. All right, this one looks a lot more like the Spider-Man covers, like the if you remember. If you watch those videos, the Gwen Stacy poses, the cheesecake poses on the cover, this looks a lot more like that, and this might even almost be by that artist, because it looks a lot more like him than this Juan. What is it? What did we decide his name was? Juan Alba Lopez. So this one's actually fairly clean. Again, we've got some wrinkling. We got a little bit of heavier up here and some stressing here. Might be a little hard to see because of the yellow. We do have kind of an 1/8 of an inch top spine split. And let's look through this one. These pages are a little darker. And I don't know. I have been an advocate for Marvel reprinting those Mexican Spider-Man books with the undead Gwen. I've sort of intimated a little bit. I don't think I really spelled it out in. And I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to call that a 5. I'm going to give that one a 5. 5.0, which is mostly because of the spine wear. But those Mexican Spider-Man books, the La Prensa books, the Undead Gwen, as it's called. Basically what happened was that when Gwen Stacy died in the American books, she was very popular. Apparently, down in Mexico, the publisher didn't want to kill her off and got permission from Marvel to continue with brand new stories done in Mexico where Gwen never died. And I have been an advocate for Marvel publishing those here in the States, maybe, re-scripted by Jerry Conway, who was the writer at the time in the early 70s of the American Spider-Man. And maybe also, getting with the original artist. I believe he's still around, and finishing that last story that was unfinished. And I think that would sell just boffo up here in the States, although that artist was known for swipes. There are a lot of Neil Adams swipes and swipes from other things, so maybe it wouldn't go for that reason. But I also think, you know, a trade paperback or a series reprinting this, I think would go. And I don't know who holds the license to this. You know, does this publisher, where it appears to be an original character developed by them, or does Marvel, where it is apparently being produced under the Marvel license, you know, where it's, you know, Shang-Chi Presenta, Chica de Kung Fu. Did Marvel actually hold a license to this? Is this a character that maybe Marvel actually owns in some fashion? But I think these, you know, again, you'd have to rescript them. I don't think you can do just a strict translation, because in what little of these books, and this I think is a different artist. This looks a little different in this one issue. But in what little I have run through Google Translate, the scripting is kind of, it just seems kind of bland. So I think they would have to be not just translated, but re-scripted to a certain extent for an American audience. But I think the art certainly holds up well enough that this would sell if Marvel could do it. And again, maybe they actually own the character. They might not. They might own it and not even know it. But there's some Bruce Lee stickers or something there. So what's the grade on this bad boy? Well, I think this one's going to be a little higher. We've got some blunting here at this top corner. Some blunting on this corner. We've got some stressing. Well, actually, now that I look at it, we have some of those parallel creases. You see this sometimes. They look almost like razor cuts. But it looks fairly clean other than that. The back cover, kind of wrinkled, but still pretty white with a fair amount of gloss still. We already looked inside. These pages are a little darker than some of the other issues. But I think this one, but for this little inch-long chunk of creases right here, I'd be pretty tempted to a 5.5, maybe even a 6. I don't think I can go quite to a 6. I think I'm going to keep that one at a 5. I'm going to go 5 on that. El Mago, the Magician. And so this one, we've got a big blunt here where it looks like it was actually dropped on that corner. And we've got an indent there. So this one does have a little, maybe a 1/4 inch rip right there. That's not going to help. But the back looks, oh no, well, I was going to say the back looks good, but we've got some roughage up here at the top, and we've got kind of a dust shadow here at the top as well. So that's why I say that these books, again, they're not really soiled, but they have some atmospheric conditions and that, you know, just lead to them looking not as presentable as they could be. And I think these probably sat on a shelf somewhere in a stack. And this one might have been sticking out a little more, because you can see it has a definite dust shadow right here. So, and there is, what did I say before? It is Puno de Acero. That apparently is Iron Fist in Spanish. So we'll look through this Chica here. She's really going at it there in the bikini karate. And I tell you, old Chong Wong is looking kind of homoerotic as well. Oh, look at this. They actually pulled her suit down to show the little butt crack. That's crazy. And look at him. This creeper here is going to Come and rub some oil on her. Oh my God. See, I told you this was the video to watch if you were kind of a perv. She did wear some nice costumes, though. Outfits. And I say nice, you know, nothing that I would wear, but, well, this is weird. So the top appears to be cropped here, but here it comes all the way down. That's weird. I think that's just a coloring error. And here she doesn't have any top on at all. And he wants to rub some oil on her too. Everybody rubbing oil on Chica de Kung Fu. So there you go. And again with the racist coloring, the Chinese people are strict yellow. Which, I mean, she's not colored really differently, nor is he. And I think they're supposed to be Korean. I think that's what I remember from running a little bit of this through Google Translate. I don't think she's Chinese or Japanese, but I could be wrong. So this one I think I'm going to go down to a 4 on, because again, we get this 1/4 inch rip here. We get that heavy blunting. We get a little bit of more of a bindery tear there than anything else. And we got the dust shadow and this stuff on the back. So. All right, now she's no longer in bikinis and mini skirts. She's going full nighty. Full nighty. He looks translucent here. Has he got some kind of ghost powers? Not sure. It's a better looking copy, although you got a little browning up here at this edge, which isn't really great. And you can see the Shang-Chi Presenta is gone from the cover, although in the indicia it is still Shang-Chi Presenta, the Chica de Kung Fu. So this is apparently, this is a different team entirely. This is Carlos Mord, Argumento, the writing and drawing, and this is the inking, I guess. I don't know. We got the, oh, there, look at that. And this is definitely a different artist who's definitely going for a little more show, a little less tell, a little more show, a little more of the Gwen Stacy butt shot stuff. What was I saying? I got distracted. I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, this issue is like super cheesecake. It's just a lot of her standing and posing. I bet you this will be the issue that sells the best. Although, like I said, this series is so little known, there probably won't be a lot of bidders because people won't, except for the people who, and there's a nightie from the cover, except for the people who follow us, who are subscribed to us, and we post 100 or more things every day, and there are some people who come and just see what we post every day. But for those people, the ones who just find stuff by searching eBay, the searchers aren't going to know enough to look for this. So I don't think this is going to get a heavy bidding. Although I think the prices could go fairly high, because this is a pretty rare thing, and it's a pretty cool thing. But on this one, I think I'm going to go, well, it's a tough call. Tell me what you would do, because we do have this browning up here at the top on this corner. But the spine, well, you've got some blunting and some shearing, paper shearing right in here. That might do it for me, but the rest of it looked kind of okay. Blunting here, but no real rips. Oh, actually, we've got some there as well. I think I'm going to go to a 4.5 on that. I'm going to call that one a 4.5. I don't quite want to go to a 5, but there's not enough going on that I really think it needs to be a 4. So that one's going to be a 4.5. All right. Here we are, our penultimate issue. Is this Telecron is back? Or Lopez? What was his name? There's no credits in this one at all. Or did they put them at the end? Every now and again they put the credits at the end. Yeah. So this is Juan Alba Lopez is back, as is Telecon the writer. Jesus Miza Lopez. Titulos, I believe that's titles or lettering. And oh, we actually have a colorist listed here as well. Most of these books don't have a colorist listed. So on this one, we've got some blunting and kind of an indentation there. Hope you saw that I was on camera. Again, we get the same kind of wrinkling along the spine. A little bit of spine wear here. Back cover, we got some, again, some fairly heavy spine wear. And we also have a little bit of a kind of a water spot right here. This line you can see, that's a little bit of wrinkling. Like there was a little drop of water or something. So let's look through this one and you can see how Chica is progressing. This is actually an ad to try and convince people to advertise in the book. And this one isn't nearly as cheesecake as the last one. There's an ad for the regular Shang-Chi Kung Fu book. There's old Chong Wong again. Chong Wong had some crazy sideburn action going on. But it was the mid-70s. This issue isn't that exciting, frankly. Oh, they're excited about something right there at the end. Not sure what it could be. Not sure what it could be. So I was tempted to go to a 5 on this one. But I think just the general wear plus that water spot, and we have again some abrasion on the spine. You can see that that's more than just a color break. That is like some wear that we can see the paper underneath the color, and you can actually see a little bit of paper peeling away right there. I think we're going to go 4 or 5 on that one as well. Again, not so bad that I need to go all the way down to a 4, but these are still just very good plus. Very good plus. And this is our last issue. Oh, I'm so sad. Plaff. And this one actually has some heavier spine wear. Can you see that right there in the middle? Where the paper is actually, the top layer where the color is actually kind of peeling away, and you can see the fibers underneath. Right in that stretch right there. That's not good. And we got some more here. The cover itself isn't that bad. We got some wrinkling. Here we have some actual creases. We haven't seen a lot of creases. It's mostly just been, again, just general wear. A lot of dimpling. We haven't seen a lot of creasing and tearing, but here we definitely have some creasing on that corner. I don't know how well you can see it because it's yellow, but and we can see here on the back side that spine is, you know, even a little worse. So I'm thinking at least a 4, and I might go down to a 3.5 on this. Oh, I missed this. I don't think I noticed this the first time around either when I was indexing them. We've got, look at that. Can you see that? I could probably stick my finger right through it if I wanted to. There you go. Some kind of a cat scratch, maybe. It's what it looks like. Or a knife or something. Huh. So that's not good. Let's look through this one. This is the last issue. And Chong Wong is getting turned into a zombie. Oh, look at her. Oh my goodness. She sleeps in the nude. I bet you didn't know that. You do now. You do now. And we also have these pages folded. They're complete. They're not missing, but they're just folded. Here we got a little Jack Kirby Captain America pinup. More sucking face. She and Chong Wong really, they do get it on. And I like how it's implied, right? They're kissy face, and then we have a picture of just the fire. Next picture, well, she's still dressed, but his shirt is off, so you kind of figure something happened. Something happened. So it's always nice to take a little time out for some nookie on the way to the mad scientist's hollowed out volcano. And that's it. That's how that series ends right there. So this one, I think I'm actually, because of this big ass rip here in the back, I'm going to go down to a 3 on that one. Down to a 3. Don't think I need to go down to a 2.5 because the rest of it's pretty complete, although we do have that heavy shearing here. Heavy paper shearing. But I don't know, it's a couple inches anyway. It's almost exactly 2 inches. Maybe I should go down to a 2.5. I think I will, actually. Even though I know going from a 3 to a 2.5 is like a death sentence. But that is it. That is our Chica de Kung Fu series. I didn't mention all of those books, by the way, they are only 28 pages. And I think, and that includes the covers. So they are thinner. In addition to being narrower than a standard American comic book, they're also thinner. They're not as many pages. So that's interesting. Something to know if you intend to bid on those or even just track them. Again, those will probably, within the next week or so, those will be up on eBay, the seller name dotcomcomics. Check that out. But otherwise, do check out our next video when we come back. And this has been good Lord, this has been about an hour. Well, I'll edit it up some. But anyway, that's it. That's everything. As always, we say when we leave, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.